Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Keats 94's Geocaching Adventures. The marine routes of coastal British Columbia are essential to getting from here to there. There's a tartan's weave of routes that interconnect our coastline. These routes pass through some spectacular rugged coastal scenes. No wonder this part of the world inspires artists and writers. On the edge of the Pacific, there seems to be a coastal symbiosis. This symbiosis adds even more to this brilliant geographical artwork. Howe Sound has 4 major islands: Bowen Island, Gambier Island, Anvil Island, and Keats Island, where we are at right now. Keats Island kind of sits southwest of all the islands, close to the town of Gibsons. In fact, from Gibsons you can see pretty much most of the island as it dominates the view as you look east from Gibsons. Keats Island is a pretty remote island. The only way to get to Keats Island is by water taxi via the Stormaway 3 or 5 from the Langdale terminal. The only way to get to Keats Island from Vancouver is you have to take the ferry from Horseshoe Bay, the BC ferry from Horseshoe Bay to Langdale, get off at Langdale, and there is a water taxi terminal right next to the main Langdale terminal, where you can take the water taxi to either Gambier Island, to a little place called New Brighton, or 2 ports of call on Keats Island, Keats Landing, and Eastbourne on the east side of the island. Keats Island is really home to a lot of houses, mostly. A lot of people tend to be seasonal here. Population of Keats Island gets to be about 200 in the off season, but it increases to size tremendously during the summertime. Welcome to downtown Keats Island, everybody. This is the area of Keats Landing, and just across the water there is Gibsons on the mainland. So this is where our journey begins. The ferry dock is down there, the water taxi that I took in, and now we're walking to a place called Salmon Point, or Salmon Rock, on the southwest tip of Keats Island. So let's go on an adventure. There is a geocache at Salmon Rock, and just before I left today, I looked to see if, this thing was accessible. And turns out it is accessible if the tide is low. The problem that we have right now is that it was just high tide at around 9:50 this morning, and I don't know if we can actually access this cache unless it involves maybe some wading. I don't really want to wade anything above my knees, to be quite honest, because it is January 5th at the point of filming. Okay, I see 2 views here. Ocean there, ocean there. That can only mean one thing. I think we're getting close to a point of land here. The southwesterly tip of Keats Island. Never been here before. Never been to this part of Keats Island. I have been to Keats Island before in the past, and you've seen, if you've been a long-time subscriber, you have seen an episode where I have done an episode in the past in a different part of Keats Island. Anyway, look at this. Look at this cool chimney. Wonder what this is all about. Maybe there's an information plaque. Oh, no way. Cool. An old abandoned chimney. All that remains of whichever homestead was here. Very cool. You see anything up there? Nope. Not far is a geocache, so we're gonna walk down to the water here and see if we can access it. Looks like we can't. The tide's still really high. There are places to camp on Keats Island. You can camp at a place called Plumper Cove Marine Provincial Park, not too far away from Keats Landing, and very easy to go onto the water taxi with your camping gear, hike about 3-ish kilometers to Plumper Cove, pitch a tent, and enjoy a beautiful marine campsite. On Keats Island, there are a lot of geocaches, and some of my longtime subscribers may have seen an episode where I had adventured to Keats Island with my friend Kelly, 899. I will provide a link to that episode for folks who wish to see it. Times have changed. Before then, I didn't have a drone, I didn't have a GoPro, and I just was using my good old-fashioned phone for a lot of my filming. Another thing, I arrived on Keats Island just before 11:30. I have to hike up and over the island to Eastbourne on the east side so that I can catch my water taxi back to Langdale. If I don't, I either have to wait until 6 o'clock and hike back to Keats Landing to take the water taxi back, which is definitely more than a few kilometers, back to where I originally started here. So I'm hoping that doesn't have to be the case. So we do have a time limit. I want to make sure that I get to Eastbourne before 4:45. 4:45, otherwise we got some decision making to do. So here we are walking back to the main populous area of Keats Island. I guess the best name to call this place is Keats Landing, where most people live. This is also home to, I think, a couple Bible camps here. There's a Keats camp, and then there's another camp, I believe, on the north side of the island. You can actually quite easily see it from the Langdale ferry. I believe that's actually the camp up there. See those old homes? Like every good geocacher, at least I try to be a good geocacher, I do have a hide on this island, and when I got off the Stormaway, I was surrounded by a lot of people who were waiting for rides, so now is a good time for me to check on it. Super simple hide, so when you find yourselves out on Keats Island, this is my cache. It's just in here, and see if it's in the same, same container with a red lid. Another piece of plastic for all of you folks to find. So, another reason why we are here on Keats Island is the geocache was published in December. I think it was around December 12th or Maybe it was December 3rd. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is FTF opportunity available, according to the online logs. I'm really hoping that anyone who goes out here and is immediately finds themselves in internet reception, that they log their find as soon as they can, just to keep people from the FTF rush in case the cache has already been signed. But so far, FTF is up for grabs. We're gonna see if we can go for it, and I really hope we will succeed. Well, that is a wicked tree. Wow. So contrary to what some people might think, I am not named after Keats Island. I am named after the poet John Keats. So there's no relation per se, just a heck of a coincidence that I happen to live in the same province that an island shares my first name. But for those who are interested in learning about Keats Island's namesake, here are some interesting facts. Keats Island's indigenous name is, and I'm going to supply the name down there because I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it at the moment. Like many of the features on Howe Sound, Keats Island was named by George Henry Richards, who surveyed the British Columbia coast from 1857 to 1862. First in HMS Plumper, which is commemorated by the name of Plumper Cove, until 1861, and then the HMS Hecate. Keats Island is named after Sir Richard Goodwin Keats, a British admiral. Admiral Keats served under Horatio Nelson and was famous for sailing the HMS Superb through a blockade at Gibraltar in 1801 during the Napoleonic Wars. Keats was also a governor of the island of Newfoundland. Keats Island is the only large island in Howe Sound named for an officer who did not take part in the Battle of Trafalgar, as his ship was undergoing refit at the time. Check out these old relics. Looks like we got ourselves a bulldozer and a truck of some kind. Okay, so we're walking to the geocache, and I really hope that everything goes to plan, because it's kind of unclear about which road is deemed public and which road is deemed private. Either way, I'm just a friendly geocacher passing through. We're now on the north side of the island here, and I have to say, it's really unclear which road is public and which road isn't, because the cache was allowed. It was placed on a public road. There's a Bible camp down there, and pretty sure you're not supposed to go down that way, but I think you are allowed to go in this direction here. So we are getting very close to the geocache. And are we first to find? We're gonna find out. Got a duck under the tree. Oh, there we go. The moment we have all been waiting for. I am approaching ground zero of this geocache. It's called Warts on a Tree. Spoiler alert, everybody. I have not yet found the cache, so I'm standing at 7 meters. Gonna drop my backpack, give it a bit of a search, and see if we can locate this thing. I really hope we do, because I don't know when I'll be back here. Okay, so remember when I said warts on a tree? I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that perhaps it's at this tree. What is that? We have ourselves a rare tree rock. What could it mean? Shall we investigate? Just a little guy. Cute little thing. All right, let's open this up and see if we are first to find. All right, I can open this up. You and I are gonna find out if FTF is still available. I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open up this side of the logbook. Do you see any signatures? Do you see any signatures? Oh, what's this? Oh, okay. See that FTF there and the blank mark? These are the two cache owners, or at least the people who are with each other. Bug Girl 1975, Soupy 58, and ZB 58. So they're the people that hid this cache. I believe I am first to find. Oh yeah. Right on. Gonna sign my name in. Signed. And yes, it's a small cache. Yes, it was a very, easy find. Glad I'm first to find. And a very special DT combination as well. Difficulty and terrain for those who are new to the game. Look at the size of this log. This is definitely old growth. Whew. Look at that. Whew. It's a big one. Now, of course, I'm not gonna spend the whole day counting the rings, but this thing has got to be easily 400 years old, 500 years old. Remarkable. See all the rings? Right from the very middle. That's super old. And when it started as a sapling, and then it just expanded outward to get to this big. Amazing. Gotta love that. Unfortunate that it's not standing as an old growth tree right now, but still pretty cool to see. Approaching our next geocache here. Keeping my voice down because there are a lot of houses nearby. But going to a cache by Zeppelin 94. And looks like the sun's getting a little low in the sky, but might make for a good sunset. What a beautiful beach this is. Oh my goodness. And the site of a geocache somewhere along here. Gonna pull out the old phone device here and let's walk towards it. Okay, there's a boat. We have ourselves a boat where a multi-trunk tree and bush meet near the cliffs, near some boats under the log. I see a singular boat. I think I see a multi-trunk tree. We have to... Well, there's a log here that I just moved very easily. I'd actually approach from the other side here. I don't really want to look like I'm trying to steal someone's boat. I am not. I am looking for the geocache that's right next to the boat. Just so happens to be I'm gonna go around here. Huh. Well, there's a wall of thorns and salal here. I'm gonna look at this a bit in further detail. Well, sadly, no luck with that geocache. It may have been swept away by the ocean. It may have also been removed by the boat owner, because the boat owner, or the boat itself, is right next to the geocache site, at least. That's where it should be, but it is not there. So, I don't know. I mean, I'll take a look for a bit longer, but sometimes you just can't win them all. Well, everybody, that concludes another episode of Keats 94's geocaching adventures here on YouTube. I want to thank you all so much for coming along on this adventure with me to Keats Island. Beautiful spot here on Howe Sound. And you know what, if you like what you saw, well, hit that subscribe button, because there are more episodes to come every Saturday at 5 a.m. So until next time, happy adventuring and happy geocaching.